Welcome back to the next in the Agents Together series, where we look at how HR departments in estate agents can make so much of a difference. Today I'm joined by Laura Courtenay, who is boss lady of HR and people at Miles Barr. And in this video, I want to talk about how HR departments can boost productivity and performance in a estate agency. Laura, talk to me.
Okay, so I think when we last spoke, we talked about performance management processes and some of the bits that we'd introduce into our business. So I think the first thing for me is performance management isn't just an objective of the people managers and the sales managers within our business. I think what really made it successful for us is, as a people team, we owned that process. So we introduced the process, we built management development programs around being able to use that process effectively. We created performance cycles, so we were able to really clearly set out and define to our managers what they needed to do throughout a year to manage performance with their teams. And we also introduced performance review meetings, which were quite sporadic previously, but we brought that into our business twice a year.
Okay, let's break all that down. Let's start off with minutiae stuff first. One-to-ones. Why are estate agents so bad at doing one-to-ones with their team?
I think a lot of the challenges you get is time. So people don't necessarily appreciate that the time that they're investing into their staff will pay back in dividends. I think people are very busy. To coin a phrase from a previous manager I've had, busy fools, potentially. So, it's a bit like delegation. Sometimes you've got to invest the time to reap the rewards. So I think often people are just too busy and they don't necessarily prioritise performance conversations with their staff.
One of the, I think, the big weaknesses of a state agency is we often, just because someone's a great lister, we tend to promote them to be branch managers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one massive weakness in a state agency. Would you say, as an HR department, you're not just there to perform, but you keep mentioning the word develop? It almost sounds like you've amalgamated the HR department with the training and development department. Is that a fair comment to make?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my background is learning and development, so I've probably got I have got a real passion for learning and development. We've got a learning and development manager that sits within my team. And for me, I've got a real appreciation for having a workforce where there is ongoing development and support for people.
Because I thought, when you said in the previous video there was 8 of you that worked in HR, I thought, wow, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people for a firm that's only 200 people. But I've never come across an instance where HR and training and development are the same thing.
They're not the same thing. I think for us, because that's where my background is and my passion and my area of expertise, I suppose, when we knew that we wanted to really bring learning and development to the fore within our business, have a dedicated learning and development manager, we've set up a dedicated learning and development platform. It felt natural for us that would sit within my team, because that's sort of a real passion of mine.
Coming back to the question about a minute ago, I talked about how estate agents tend to promote listers into branch managers. What have you set in place to ensure that those managers are actually not only managing but leading their teams? Because I know you said you've got 12 branches and you've had surveys, which we've talked about in the previous video, where there were quite obviously different levels of performance. What did you actually implement there, and what can the boys and girls in estate agency land learn from that to ensure that everyone was brought up to the same level?
So we rolled out a management development programme. So we kicked it off early in 2020, well, the end of 2019 actually. So it was all centred around our performance management cycles that we introduced into the business and the processes, and we stripped it right back from being able to give effective feedback to a colleague, being able to have an effective one-to-one, have challenging conversations, right through to sort of questioning skills and listening skills, which, yes, they can use that in their day-to-day sales roles, but it was really important that people had those soft skills about them to be able to effectively manage their teams. So it was a 3-day programme initially. So we started off there, and then we literally took each section of our performance cycle, one-to-ones, observation and feedback, mid-year reviews, career discussions, and we split that up and really worked to give the theory behind some of that stuff. Why do we do it? What's the benefit? And also do those skills practice. And then from there, I've just really worked to embed that within our business through ongoing coaching and development with our leaders.
What has that actually provided for Miles and Barr by doing that?
We've reaped so many rewards from there. I mean, our engagement survey tells us, we've talked already about our attrition rate and the impressive numbers we've managed to
Share
get
the numbers
there.
with the boys and girls. They might have not seen that video.
Yeah, so our retention numbers for our staff, we've managed to get that up to 88% now.
So you lose 12% of your colleagues each year. I mean, the industry average is 35%.
Yeah, and ours was over 40%. So we've managed to chip
You must be
away at
saving
that.
shed loads of money.
Absolutely, yeah.
And are you getting more out of your branch managers and teams in terms of business performance?
100%. Our productivity is excellent, and what we've managed to do is make sure people are productive quicker. So where learning and development sits within our team, we've got a dedicated recruitment and onboarding manager now, and what that's meant is people joining our business and getting up to speed really quickly. Therefore, it's not a constant cost. What we were finding is we were losing people within that around a 1 year to 18-month mark. But what we've managed to do now is stretch that on. So for me, initially, I was saying to the directors, you're constantly recruiting and you're not getting people up to that productive part of their career before we're losing the next ones. So what I put a proposal together is we have an onboarding manager, and they work really closely with our new recruits that first 6 months, really in-depth training, making sure they feel supported in their careers and their journey as they join our business. And what it's meant is we get them to be productive quicker. So they're contributing to our business a lot quicker. And more importantly, they're staying, which also has a massive impact on our costs.
So good HR with regard, the initial question was, what does good HR department do to performance? Is you have more efficient colleagues who stay with you longer, you haven't got to train people, and they're happier, because if they weren't happy, they'd be leaving.
Yeah.
Sounds like a win-win situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate that if you focus on development and improving the work-life balance of staff, you can focus on that together with focusing on client experience, and your productivity does come. I've been part of programs in the past with previous employers where we've proven that that's the case. So yes, you shouldn't stop talking about the numbers and talking about the KPIs and the measures, but focus on the stuff that's going to drive that and have a really engaged workforce. That there's those discretionary efforts. They want to get up in the morning. There's none of that Sunday evening dread. They want to be part of that business and feel part of that business, and feel like they can really make a difference and contribute, but ultimately feel valued and feel that they get the recognition and reward for doing that.
Laura, thank you for your time today on behalf of Agents Together. This is one video of a series of 7 where we're talking about the different aspects of HR and people departments in a state agency to make your colleagues happier, to make you happier, and to have better performance in the estate agency business. Thank you for your time today. We'll see you on the next video, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.